In this video, I'll be walking you through the stairwell hip rotation and low back mobility exercise. Let's have a look at our exercise setup and performance cues.
Welcome. In this video, what we're going to be doing is a hip mobility exercise. I'll be demonstrating it on the right hip, and it is really designed to increase some mobility to the outside of the hip, the back side of the hip. It's even going to get the lower back and spine on the right side as well. What you're going to need is a staircase and a railing to hang on to. So let's jump into this and let's look at the actual details. First, we have to decide how high we're going to put our foot up on the step. So since we want to target the right hip and the right low back, we're going to put the right leg up. If we wanted to get the left side, we would have to put the left leg up and then we'd have the left railing here. So we would flip-flop everything. Once we have the desired height, the movement we're actually going to be doing here involves us doing a lunge. So we're shifting weight from the back leg to the front leg, and we're just moving in and out of the position. Now, how far you can move forward and back is really based off of how mobile your body is and how well you can control things, which is why we have the rail here as well too, right? So you can hang onto that rail and we can use that to help us. It's great for not only the hip and the low back, but you also get the ankle and the knee with this as well too. It should never be painful. So if it's painful, stop immediately and reassess with your practitioner as to what you need to do to change things. Once we've determined how high we need to put our foot, we may be starting on just one step up. We may be doing 2 steps. We could go up to 3 depending on how loose we are. We've determined how high we need to go. Now what we're going to do is we are going to look at the back leg here and make sure that that's not too far back. We don't want to be in a full out lunge. You shouldn't feel like you're getting a big, huge stretch in that back leg. If so, bring it forward. And the toes on the back leg should be pointing straight ahead, or they can be out a little bit, okay? We don't want the foot turned all the way out though. So be aware of that. And then also, before we get started, make sure that your stance is basically about a hip width apart. We can go more narrow. That would make the balance a little bit harder and challenge your balance, or we can go a little bit wider if you feel like you need more balance. That's okay too. So decide where you kind of need to be in the middle of all that to figure out what works best for you on any given particular day. Once we're set up here, what we're going to do with the upper body is we're going to use the rail. Now, since we're going to target the outside of the right hip and the right low back, what we need to do is we need to twist and turn to the right. So we're twisting over that hip, okay? So before you move forward into the lunge and come out of it, when we're doing the exercise, we have to determine, well, how far do we want to twist? Because this is what it's all going to look like. So there's my twist, and then I'm coming forward and back. So we have to make sure that we're not twisting too far to where it doesn't hurt anything in the back, or it doesn't change how far forward you can move with that front leg, because we're really targeting the leg and the spine here to work together. So we want the max amount of twist and the max amount of movement forward at the same time. So we have to play around with it a little bit and just kind of see where we're the loosest. Just you take a couple minutes and just kind of feel for it. All right, that's too far. Yeah, I can go a little bit further than that. And all right, that's kind of my sweet spot. So there we go, okay? So once we have that twist figured out, and we got the steps figured out, and we got the position figured out, now we're ready to do the exercise. So with this particular exercise, get your twist, face the wall, and know how many reps you're gonna need to do before you get started. So I'm gonna do 5 reps in this example. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's perfect. Okay? So there are my 5 reps. And what you'll find is as you do more and more reps, you're going to be able to twist more to the right, and you're most likely going to be able to come forward more too with your lunge. And that's okay. When you feel like you're starting to really be able to go forward more with the lunge, that means that the hip is really loosening up. So another option that you have here is you could go up 2 steps, and then that'll give you more mobility as well too. Okay? So give this a shot, see how it goes. One additional modification we can do here is to add a step up into the actual motion that we're performing. So we have our step height figured out, we have our twist figured out. What we'll do is we'll go back and then we'll come forward. Twist, step. Twist back, step up. Twist back, step up. It's going to be really important here that we're making use of the rail that we have. So take your time and just make sure it's real slow. This is a movement that you've probably never done before. So what we're doing is loading the hip and then pushing off. So what's going to be different about this modification is that the weight is going to be primarily on your front leg the entire time you're doing this. So when we're here, I have my weight forward onto my right leg. I twist, and then I step. And I just put this one down. I twist, and I step. Give that modification a try. Here's an additional modification that we can use to put a little bit more stress on the backside of the hip and the glutes, especially if they're feeling tight and locked down, and it doesn't feel like you have as much push coming out of that side of the body. So here's how we do it. Select your step height, and with this, less is usually more. Before, in the other versions of this, the toes on the step were pointed straight ahead. This time what we're going to do is we're going to slightly toe in. And you'll notice I didn't do much of that. If I toe in a whole lot, watch my knee, the whole knee is going to point off in another direction, and we don't want that. So typically what we want to do here is, if you're on a set of steps, take your toes and put them gently touching the very front bottom edge of the step, and then from there just slightly bring it in a little, like I basically just did that. So again, if you're looking at your foot from your standing position, you're literally barely moving it in. You don't need this big huge toeing in movement that brings the knee with it. So it's important because when we actually do the lunge, or if we're going to do a step up out of this position, we want the knee to always be facing forward. So I'll give you 2 things to try here, depending on how advanced you are. Here's the first. You get into your setup position, you're going to toe in a little bit. Make sure that the knee is still straight ahead. And from here, use your railing and push off. So I come forward and I put my weight onto this front leg, and then I push back out of it. Coming forward into it, push back out of it. Coming forward into it, I push back out of it. Now if I'm feeling really good and that's too easy, what I can do is I can step up out of this position. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come forward with my toes in, and instead of pushing back, I push and bring my body straight up. So it's up towards the ceiling and then back down. You're not pushing your body forward, you're keeping your body vertical during the push. So I'm toed in, and I'm gonna come forward. Now I'm loaded up, and then from here, I step straight up and back down. Straight up and back down. Play around with how much you toe in. If I toe in, I can toe in a little bit more, and then there's my knee, it's still straight ahead. My whole foot needs to be on the ground, so if you toe in too much, what happens is your foot starts to pop up like that. We don't want that. So make sure the entire foot is still on the step, and then from here, we're gonna come back, and then we come forward, push up, and back down. Chest is always facing forward, knee is always facing forward, and back down. Up, and back down. If you really want some bang for your buck, here's one more modification you can try. And you can twist to your right. So you're gonna come back, and up, back, and up, back, and up. Give that a shot.